Number 4, I told him it was my stepson's birthday tomorrow. And a student says to me, "Oh, so your husband cheated on you too?"
Parenting has really changed over the years, and I'm curious on what you think, because has it gotten gentler and gentler over the years? Has it been yielding positive results? Who knows really? Check out some of these videos because I'm curious to see, is this something that we really need to adapt to, or is it something that really has just changed in a negative way?
I see teachers all over my For You page talking about how their students are having issues writing paragraphs. As someone who took APs in high school, AP literature, AP history, like my brain literally cannot comprehend that. We used to write essays on the spot. We would come into class and my teacher would be like, "Surprise essay, you have 15 minutes to write this." And we would be expected to do it and do it well. It's just very concerning thinking about where education and literacy is going in the country. The thought that we're going to be working with them, they're going to be our doctors, they're going to be taking care of some of us health-wise in some of these industries, it just makes me really nervous.
It is so sad nowadays how uneducated, I don't know, the generations are. I'm at the grocery store and I get not the self-checkout line, but the one with the person, because I wanted to buy some stamps. And I told him at the very beginning of the transaction, I was like, yeah, I'm also gonna need some stamps, just one booklet of stamps. And you could tell he looked confused, and I was like stamps. And then so he rang everything up and he tried to ignore it and just was like, "Oh, here's your total." And I was like, "No, I need stamps." And he looks at me and he's like, "Stamps?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like my employee ID? And I go, "No, stamps." And he's like food stamps? And I'm like, "No, I need stamps so I can mail something. I'm looking for a booklet of stamps." And he's like, "I don't know what that is." So then we had to sit there for another 5 minutes so he can call up his manager, who he doesn't even know the name of. He's just like, "Hey, hey, hey," for her to come up. And then she boop, 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 puts it in, and then she walks away. And then he just I pay. And then I'm looking at him, I'm like, "I need the stamps." And he's just looking at me so she has to come back over and show him where the stamps are. I'm like, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. You don't know what a stamp is? To mail things, you don't know what a stamp is? He even it wasn't "Oh, that's what it is." No, he just was "I don't know what that is."
I'm not going to front. I don't like this new generation of kids, because you would then tell them, "Go eat your food. I'm not going to tell you again." And they will look at you and say, "Well, don't." And then it's like, "Who are you talking to?" And they will respond, "You." And it's like, you are talking to me and I don't got to tell you again, but you don't got to say that.
But I need to throw down a very serious rant, because I'm experiencing something that is really getting on my last damn nerves. So basically, I'm a teacher. I do supply work. I work in various different schools. I've been teaching for 10 years. I've been in the game for 10 years. And before that, I was a teaching assistant. So I've been in it even longer than 10 years. One thing that I'm noticing, this generation, Alpha, bloody hell, they are a piece of work. And I'm seeing some teachers in America saying this, but... So I work in year 2, and oh my God, I feel victimized by some of these 6 and 7 year olds. They don't listen. They're violent as hell. Their academic abilities are so much lower than I've seen in my previous teaching years. They're helpless. You ask a question, they're just staring at you. They still can't form their letters. Before, in a class of 30, you might have had maybe 5 or 6 students that, needed support to access the curriculum. Now, it's the other way around. You have 5 or 6 students that can access the curriculum, and then the rest of the class really struggles. It is bizarre. I don't know how we're raising them or what on earth is going on, but they can't manage their emotions. They're throwing tantrums left, right, and center. They hide under tables, they storm out, they don't listen to instructions. You tell them something and they just mock you and repeat after you what you've just said. They don't be quiet. It is stressful as hell. It makes you contemplate walking out of the profession, because it is just too much.
Things my students said to me this week as a 2nd grade teacher. Number 1, "Miss E, I like your costume today." Okay. Number 2, you haven't brought us any snacks in mad long. You ain't get paid yet? Number 3, when are you going to be absent again? We need a break. Okay. Number 4, I told him it was my stepson's birthday tomorrow. And a student says to me, oh, so your husband cheated on you too? Number 5, right babies come out the mama's butt? Huh? I don't know. Number 6, they saw my lock screen and said, oh, you look real nice when you're not at work. Okay. Number 7, you don't get tired of talking sometimes? I do. Yeah, I do. Number 8, I read the title of a fluency passage that my students were supposed to be reading with me. And the title was Sam's Ball. So one of my students decides he's going to scream out, no Diddy. What? Number 9, I was being observed and I asked the kids a question and all of them were raising their hands to respond. So I decided to pick on one student in particular. And when I call on him, he goes, is it time for lunch yet? It wasn't. It wasn't time for lunch. And number 10, one of my students said to me, how old you is? I don't know why I do this to myself. I don't know why. I don't.
It feels like teaching an entire generation of weaponized incompetence. Because what do you mean you can't just reread the directions that I strained my voice to read out loud 3 times? What do you mean you can't just look at the rubric that I made that shows you exactly how to get a grade? And I said if you even wrote a few sentences, you could get a 1, which is a D. The security guard stopped by and he was kind of like shocked at how confused the kids were. It's an alternate ending to The Outsiders. You get to do whatever you want and you were given enough information, notice, and preparation. Now you can just sit down and write anything you want. Ponyboy does this, Johnny doesn't die, whatever you want to do. And they're just sitting there like this. And I can't help that. And so I just told him, like, you need to pick up the pencil and write. I can't help you. You need to pick up the pencil and write. The only metaphor I could think of to try and motivate them was that every year my kids have 2 sets of grandparents. One set of grandparents just gets a blank happy birthday card and then they write love grandma. The kids don't keep those cards. The other grandparents get detailed cards and write, on the day you were born, I love you so much. My kids keep those cards. You guys are going to be the grandparents that just writes love grandma because you can't even pick up the pencil and write. I even told them if they can't think of anything, they should write once upon a time and then just write whatever. I even told them you can just write what did happen in the story. And I had kids really sit here and do nothing. And then I go, okay, that's it. That's the only time you get. And they looked at me like, huh? How, like what? When are you ever going to pick up the pencil and write? They don't intend to. If you let them do it online, they 100% cheat. Obviously, I've caught them cheating so many times they don't try that now because that's the only way I give a 0. I will give you a 50% a lot of times, but if you copy and you waste my time, 0.
I do have 2 kids, and when we're parenting here, it really is interesting because our kids have been doing long division since they were 3 years old. They've been reading since whenever, and our kids do receive discipline. Now, we're not putting hands on our kids and things like that, right? So the question is, because things have changed over time, have things gotten worse? Do we need gentler parenting? I'm curious on your thoughts. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.